As we're live.
Okay, I still have a little. Okay. All right. Well, I
It
think
should
we're
be.
live. All right. We are live. So, welcome everybody to this webinar today. Emily Mailer here with Wellness for Generations, and we are interviewing Kelly Marshall from 238 Accounting Services, and we're super excited to have her. So, do you want to? I kind of want to share a little bit. Whenever I have a pilot program before I started taking on clients, and Kelly is my first official client. So that was super exciting. And so we've had a really good connection since our first call, and we had many after that, before she even became a client. So I'm super excited to have her today. So share with us a little bit about you, kind of what's your story, just some basic stuff.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And we've had fun together since the minute we met.
Yes.
And so I guess I'm probably a little bit different than a lot of people that are in the directory, because my business it's got accounting services in the name. It's a bookkeeping business, but it's also financial wellness. And that's kind of how you and I got connected. And that is a longer story than you probably want on here. So I'll try to shorten it up. But the bottom line is I was in corporate for 20 years of my career. And I kept bouncing in and out. Like I went to school for accounting. I've always loved it, but there were this part of that corporate life that just didn't quite fit. So I would, maybe I would register for massage school, or I'm actually trained as a holistic health counselor. And, so there was these other things I was dabbling with, but it was always these two pillars of my life, like these two separate things. And so as I had this bookkeeping business very part-time while I was working in corporate, and I was looking to make that my full-time gig because I have my daughter at home, and wanted to create a business with the flexibility, always had that entrepreneurial drive. And I really had to figure out how to marry my my love for small business owners and wellness and all these other pieces together. And it really came together by serving the right group of people. So
Right.
I don't only a little toast.
Sorry.
I don't only work with health and wellness businesses, but that was where I started out in my. Since then, I broadened it with female business owners, entrepreneurs, small businesses that are heart-based and service-based. So a lot of the times it's health and wellness people, and that's part of how you and I got connected.
Yes.
And it brought me here. So it's my way of marrying my skill set and what I'm good at, but helping and serving the people that I'm very interested in, and really helping. It's kind of my way of having an impact, because I believe so much in what they're doing out in the community, that if I can help them be successful or even stay in business, because sadly, a lot of times if they don't get their money right, they're out of business. And so if I can help them with that, then I get to have a bigger impact through who they're able to serve. So that's really kind of my why and my story and why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the reasons that I found Kelly on LinkedIn, and one of the reasons I reached out to her was because as I was putting this directory together, I really wanted to make sure that finance was a piece of it, because that is part of our health. If our finances aren't in order, then we're going to be stressed. And because she's specifically works with businesses, if your business isn't running and you don't have money to pay yourself, you can't keep yourself in business. So what was life like growing up? Were you taught a healthy lifestyle?
No. There were places, there were ways that I was in the idea that, we had family dinners. We sat down at a table. A lot of it was home cooked food. We had gardens. And so I know, like, I was privileged enough to have exposure to a lot of those things, but it was also the 80s where, and I've always struggled with my weight. So I was always fat free this and and so I had a lot of exposure to that. And that's caused issues as I grew up. So there was, I guess I was in my early 30s when I started to become aware of, just the real nasty stuff that's out there in the processed foods and the trans fats and the hydrogenated this and that. And so I went and saw a holistic health counselor for 6 months at that time and kind of reformed a lot of that. And that was a lot of undoing that standard American diet. My diet changed a lot at that time. Went all the way to raw, gluten-free, vegan, and then kind of have ended up somewhere in the middle, but certainly not that standard diet that I grew up on. So I had a mix, and I still do have a mix, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. And regarding money, were you taught anything about money while you were growing up?
I think, that's a really good question. I definitely, a lot of what has come into my work from a coaching perspective, has come from having to undo money stories, money blocks, like even little things. There've been a lot of stories I've rewritten,
Mhm.
that I've learned from not learning a lot about that as I was growing up. And then that kind of got married along with the practical side of things, the bookkeeping and stuff like that. But I've really, in my work in the last few years, learned that if you don't heal that, the money stories and things, if you don't have that kind of coming into owning a business, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And so I've kind of found ways to marry that into my business where we address both. But no, I definitely had some money stories to undo and some bad habits to undo. And that's why I'm here and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So do you want to share, you did already kind of share some of your purpose and your why. So do you want to share specifically what your business is? What program you use and all that kind of thing?
Yeah.
A little bit of basics there.
Yeah. So there's a couple, I guess I'll call them pillars, if you will, to what I do. I think I'll start with the one that everybody gets, is the bookkeeping, and that's easy. I mean, that's taking care of the money. I don't mean easy to do, I mean easy to understand. I keep track of everything for people. And I think that that's really a critical part, because if you don't know what's going on, you can't make educated decisions. You're running your life just based on your gut, which can work to a certain point, but eventually people get to a level where that's no longer going to serve them, and they need to be sure that they've got the good practices in place to help with that. The other thing I found, so that's one thing, and that used to be what my business was for a long time, but I wasn't able to add the value difference for people in the way that I wanted to. So the first thing I started adding was a system called Profit First that Emily and I have talked about before. And it's basically a cash management system. So it teaches people how to make sure they're paying themselves first, because otherwise I've had far too much experience with business owners who have run businesses for years, and they're just exhausted. They love what they do, but they're burnt out and they're never getting the win. And so it teaches them how to take care of themselves, how to set up systems to pay taxes right away, because that's part of taking care of yourself. That should never be a stressful thing. So it's a pretty simplistic system once it gets set up properly for you and your business. So I teach people how to do that. So that's part of my coaching. And then the other piece is that mindset that we talked about. And to me, that's really what makes my business holistic, because I think you need all three. So we work on money blocks, mindset, and having a vision, and your identity. A lot of people, if I'll use a health coach, and I don't want to pick on health coaches, but I'm going to. So if you have a health coach and they don't identify themselves as a business owner, if this is like, I love to help people and I'm really healthy, and whatever their story is, and they don't step into their role as a business owner, they run the risk of working too hard. It's not sustainable. They're not charging right. Maybe they have trouble asking for money. They're not keeping good track of it. They didn't set aside money for tax, whatever those little problems that they can have along the way. Part of that is not even stepping into that as a business owner. It's almost never leaves the hobby stage. And then that doesn't align with, well, I'm going to be a 6-figure business owner. Everybody wants to hit 100 grand. They're never going to get there if they don't get those things in place. So it's stepping into the identity as a business owner. So I've developed tools and gotten coaching and training myself to help my clients with that piece of it. And I think it all goes hand in hand. And then what I'm excited, I haven't even talked to you about this yet, but I'm working on more adding to my program to add business strategy and really helping people learn how to identify who they're working with and get the program that they're offering and the pricing. And so that's the other piece I'm bringing in, because that to me really completes it holistically.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of just answered my next question, which was, what are you excited about right now? Or anything new? Is there anything else going on that you're excited about? Or
well, that's a big part of it. And I think for me personally, how that comes out into the world, something that's in development. I'm going to be working on workshops. So I have a local presence. I'm in Buffalo, New York. I have some local presence with we have a book club, entrepreneurial book
Mhm.
club. And I do some local workshops, but it's also online. So whatever we're doing locally, we're kind of repeating online
Mhm.
so that Emily and people that are not in
Yeah.
our area can join in the fun. So the book club is at night as well. But the workshops I'm gonna start working on some webinars that can
Okay.
offer that for people. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I'll just stop there and
That's
let you ask your next
no,
question.
no, that was it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know when there's two, I think just you and Kristen are from up in Buffalo
Mhm.
area, and I keep saying I'm going to come up there. My goal is to come out there this fall, so
Good,
we'll see if I can make it.
good.
Um, so is there anything else business related that you would like to talk about or discuss? The last two questions are kind of related to future use of things.
Hmm. And then this might be part of what you're going to get to, but I would love to share about my group if that's
Yeah,
allowed.
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I talked about the book club and that we have it online. Probably the best way to stay in touch with us on that is to join Prosperous and Profitable Female Entrepreneurs, and that's a Facebook group. Um, and yeah, so you can find me there, and there's free coaching in there, a lot of connection. It's a great place for networking. And then there is the book club, and that's where the workshops are going to come from. So that's probably the best way to stay in touch with me.
Sorry.
Just turn
I
your
know,
computer
right?
a little.
What's wrong?
This is the mom life for everybody watching.
Yes,
This
it
is
is.
exactly what
What's
mom
wrong?
entrepreneurial life is like.
Talk to me. Do you want to play in the puddles? Okay, we're almost done. Okay, and then we can go play in the puddles. All right. Can you have some more apple? He's also very tired, so
Yeah.
even though he got 11 hours of sleep. Okay, so and I love being in your group, and I love that.
Thank you.
What's wrong?
Little honey.
What's wrong? Do you want to lay your head down? I rub your back. I've really enjoyed being in your group because it is fun to get to know people, and you've sent me quite a few referrals, which has been nice. And it's a very good active group for anyone in business looking for a group for some support, and especially in the money areas of stuff. Super helpful.
Well, I just think the entrepreneurial journey can be lonely. I mean, it really gets to be a benefit for me as I'm working with my clients because I need that interaction. Mm-hmm. But you need that outside your clients too, and about your group as well, as we get that opportunity to mastermind together and connect, and it's just kind of builds your community. So there's so many reasons that's good. It's good for referrals, so you get to be a more valuable partner to your clients. Mm-hmm. Or even prospects that you're meeting. If you're not the right fit, you have access to people that might be. And it just fulfills that need. Like, we need that connection. And when you do, if you're doing the work from home mommy life, like, you need that adult interaction too. Mm-hmm. So I think both of our communities are looking to provide that for people, and it's in different ways. And they go nicely together because we do have a lot of the same people. So it's been nice. So if you like Emily's group, come and join mine as well. I would love
Definitely join hers.
Yeah.
So the two of the last questions I like to ask are just kind of regarding health and what you would kind of like to see. So the first one is, what kind of key element do you think people can make to start moving that needle in their health and start progressing the positive way?
I'd like to focus on just even one that, even with everything I know coming in and all of the pieces the tools I had in place that could have made it easier, it's still, I needed to get support and be reminded that, especially I'm going to speak to the business owners because that's who I work with, we have to have our business structured in a way that takes care of our lives first. And I am a worker. That's in my nature. I'm going to overwork. I'm going to work till midnight if I need to. I'm going to get things done. And I will sacrifice myself first. I'm still going to make sure my daughter is taken care of. I'm still going to make sure, my husband and everybody else. And if I do that, I will be burnt out of business, and not able to serve my clients right. And so that's been a real conscious effort that I've had. Like, I need to make time to walk and to move and and to take care of my health. And, you know, we've even started, we ended up doing one of the meal prep services where I make the dinners, but it comes in a bag, and it's so silly in some ways. Like you feel like, oh my God, I'm spending this for, but it all comes in a bag, and I get to make a dinner, and I connect with my husband, and I didn't have to think about what I was making, and I didn't have to. And so for the stage of life I'm in, that works for me. And so finding ways to ensure that you're taking care of your health first is critical. And one of the biggest things about that, especially for people that are service providers, is getting your pricing right. Because if you don't get your pricing right, you have to work so much more to make what you need to do to sustain yourself. And so starting right out of the pricing right. And if you don't know how to do that, get help, and get support and get a coach that's going to help you get that set right, so that you're then able to sustain this business and take care of yourself while you're doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that would be the biggest thing from my work perspective.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And then the last question, what change would you like to see that would just continually get passed down from generation to generation? What would you like to see passed down to the next generation?
I think I'll stay on brand here and talk about money. Like, I can't stand that money has become money conversation, and I can feel it changing and shifting, but it has been so taboo. Like, you can't talk about how much you make. You can't talk, like, if you have debt, you hide it. Like, the whole idea of, you know, that it's one of those things too, like, you can hide that part of it. So that's like all the shame around money. And if I could see that shift, and just culture, and be able to talk about it and teach these lessons and teach our kids. Like, we know it's not in school, they're not learning it. You know, you see little programs here or there, but teach them how to manage their money and how to have a healthy relationship with it. And that's going to undo a lot of what people are suffering with as adults. So that would be my biggest, just to stay on brand. I mean, there's a lot of things I'd like to have passed down, but that's the one we'll focus on today.
No, and it's a good one, because I mean, I didn't really learn about money. I have no idea what my parents' income was growing up. We didn't lack, but we also didn't have everything we wanted. But that was more of like a not spoiling my kids type of thing, I think. And then as an adult, I really struggled with choosing to get a mortgage when we got married, because my parents never had debt. And so that was like, oh, I need to live up to their standards. And I can't, like, in today's society, you can't unless you've worked for years and years and have crazy amounts of money saved. So so I definitely agree. That's something that I really want to work on passing down to John. He just thinks everything is his. So he's like, I want that. I want that. I'm like, we're probably not buying it for you right now. But
just to be able to talk about it, you know, every situation is different, but just start by explaining it. And that, you know, even with my daughter, to explain why mommy's doing these things, why mommy's building this business. What does a client mean? Like, she always kind of understood when we went to a place and worked, but this transitions, we've gotten to have a lot of those conversations. It's been really fun, you know? So I don't hide any of that. I don't hide my purpose behind it. I don't act like I don't want to make money. That's a big part of it. Like, that's, I mean, my drive is very successful in myself as well. And I think that is needed, especially in the health and wellness industry. And so I share that with her, and you know, we don't do everything perfectly, but we're really trying to make that, especially that we can have really honest conversations and open and conversations with her, so she has an understanding of it. You know, along with, like, I could go on to this topic forever, but you know, she's got her bank accounts, and you know, putting money in there and just teaching her about saving, but also having fun with some of it. And so we're trying, and that's what I would just encourage everybody to do.
Yeah. Awesome. So other than the group, where else can people find you? And we'll make sure to post links in the
Thank you. The group's my favorite piece because it gives us a chance to connect, but my other favorite piece is that I love to connect with people on strategy sessions. And so I offer strategy sessions, and that's on my website. So it's 238accounting.com. And there's just a button to click and schedule something. So I invite, you know, anybody that wants to learn. It just feels like this is an area, either you are stressed about it in your business, or you feel like there's time to change. You've tried to level up and you're bumping against that ceiling. If any of that resonates with you, but don't be afraid to book a call, because I love that. And there's no obligation. It's all about the connection. And if I can help you, I will. And if I can't, maybe I can find somebody else that could. I'm happy to do that too. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the time
you.
to chat with us today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Go
All
play in the
right.
puddles. Have fun.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Bye.